and then everybody in the party got silent when she said her uncle's name, because the look on his face when he realized that the whole time she was his half-sister, everybody was just really quiet, and so he just picked up his pants and walked out.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's a hard way to end a family reunion.
That sounds terrible.
Super terrible.
Well then, we should get this show on the road. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? It's Friday, having a fantastic day. We're getting ready for the Labor Day weekend. We are Figure Action. We're a newish at this point podcast, and we are here to brighten up your Friday night and talk some figures. I'm joined tonight by the usual cast of characters. Sans Adrian. He's still recovering from his trip to Japan, but if you're keeping up with our channel on YouTube, you might see some of the interesting finds he's had. So next week he should be back here, and I think we have a guest lined up for next week too. I'm still trying to hammer that out. But if you're listening to us on YouTube, we thank you. We just want to remind you we got a live chat going, and if you participate in the chat, we'll try and hit you up throughout the course of the show, or if you hit us throughout the course of the show, we'll try and respond. If you wanted to listen to us later, we're available on Podbean, Apple, Google. Search us under Figure Action if you want to listen to us later or offline, and of course you can catch up on all the back episodes there and on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get this going. I'm going to go down the list of our panel tonight and find out how everybody's doing. Star Screamer, we'll start with you. How you doing, buddy?
Tired, but awesome.
Getting back to the grind with the new old job.
Oh yeah, things got back in the swing of things big time today. Our new store opened up, and I know it's Friday, but it felt like Saturday. Just the traffic coming in and making people happy, and cash is flowing. So hopefully, halls will be growing.
Nice, good stuff. So I guess you in that line of work, you have to work weekends.
Oh yeah, so I'll be in there tomorrow.
Yeah, fun.
So
fun. At least get Labor Day off.
And Labor Day.
Oh, you'll be in there Labor Day. Oh.
Oh yeah. The wild world of high-end retail.
Yeah. Fun. What is it you guys sell again?
I sell outdoor furniture. I sell high-end grills. I sell fireplaces.
You sell propane and propane accessories?
I do not sell propane, but I do sell the propane accessories, the burners, the grills, which will teach you to make a proper steak with some Texas toast. And
I'll tell you what,
that Tman just ain't right. But
he almost walked out on us.
I thought he was. Thought he was going to do that too. Right on. Parts, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It's raining its ass off here. Yeah. It's thunderstorming and monsoon-like conditions outside. I've been keeping up with the local news where they're washing bridges out and having rescues and vehicle entrapment. And so if I suddenly go dead, that's why, because I've lost power or I've been swept away.
Well, the four of us. The four of us are in the same state, so hopefully the weather stays calm.
I hope so.
Otherwise, it's just going to be the true
or at least down to the collection.
Most of my collection is raised, but I think if the water gets to me here, though, I don't think it's going to matter.
Go to the second floor.
I collect all my loved ones, my figure arts, and my third party.
Well, mostly the figure arts.
Notice that the wife and the kids were not in that loved ones category. He was more concerned with the figure arts.
Well, he taught that kid to swim with a satchel.
They have arms. They can gather things and run too.
It'll be like the end of Titanic, where he'll have like a board that he's floating on, and it'll just be like all the like MMC figures and figure arts.
And then years later, they'll have diagrams of it saying, "Look, there was room for his son right there."
Joe, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I'm following the weather events too. My wife had some excitement trying to get to work tonight, and I was almost a no-show tonight. But my kids are taking it good. They're in bed. They're calm. They haven't interrupted me yet, so Looking like we're good.
Good stuff.
Cool.
And see how you doing, man.
I'm doing spectacular. I stepped away because I wanted to turn on another light because I just got to shape up, so I wanted to make sure that y'all can see that.
Well, I mean, the chat is lighting up about your shape up right now. Just how he looked.
So no joke though, before we hit broadcast, your internet connection was damn near perfect. You were not pixelated at all. You were crystal clear. Then the moment I hit broadcast, it's like you're broadcasting from an Afghanistan cave somewhere or something. Like
I think I have a curse. Yeah, I'm just not meant to be clear on here. I got to look the most bootleg.
I think it's for our international audiences because it's like in Japan, they have to pixelate all the dirty parts, and you just get pixelated.
Oh, yeah, I don't have on pants, so.
Oh, Jesus. Well, we've done your work for you, Japan.
Let me turn the Wi-Fi back on and see what happens. I might disappear.
All right.
Zero, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. It's been a long work week, but I'm glad to have a 3-day weekend coming up. Got a lot of fun, exciting plans. Yeah. Well, hey, you left the corporate world. Don't get sassy with me, Lutwak. So, yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a busy week. My manager's been on vacation, so I got to collect my sanity a little bit. Next week should be interesting, but it's only going to be a 3-day work week next week. So, because when Spider-Man comes out, oh, that feels so good. Yeah. But I do have, I do have a interview with my own company to be a lead. So I may just be bluffing. And
that Spider-Man game looks so good.
I know. Of course, have you heard about the controversy with that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Like the puddles. The developer saying like it's because the location of the sun's different. I don't know. I don't care about how it looks. I care more about how it plays. I mean, is it a fun Spider-Man?
I haven't heard the controversy. What is there, a puddle gate?
I haven't heard it either.
They're saying that the graphics were scaled back from what they showed a while back. They said that the puddles aren't as big and the shadows are inconsistent. It's a thing to bitch about.
Yeah. They got problems.
Ruined forever. It's trash.
No, I'm excited for that.
Watching us.
Pre-orders canceled.
Shout out to Nerd Out. We're gonna have to get Randy on here when we got to hammer out the details with him. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm actually gonna get the Marvel Legend too. That's gonna go on my video game shelf. So I'm excited for that game. And as I was saying, I got some fun weekend plans with the family and doing some stuff with Alexa's family. So it's gonna be fun.
That Marvel Legends a GameStop exclusive, right?
Yeah, so they'll probably have it there as like an impulse buy, like by the cash register when you go and pick up the game. So, I think it's cool when they do that sort of stuff. I've always kind of had obviously for the video game shelf, I've always had like a knack for video game centric figures. So,
I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn in the background right now.
Now I'm surprised. Did you not get the sale? There's a sale of $12.
Yeah, I got it. That's why I'm playing it.
Oh well, shit.
I'm not really playing it. Maybe a little bit later.
Well, I was mostly saying to Lowak, it was on sale. Like the complete edition was $12 last week, or this week actually.
Oh, with the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
That was with the DLC included.
Yeah, that was all the DLC, complete edition.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a great game for $12.
I just got to buy me a PlayStation card and just keep some points loaded on there at all times.
Yeah, they do PayPal now too. I'm like that devil on your shoulder right now.
Hey, listen, did you watch that Cyberpunk? That currently has all my attention.
What was that?
Cyberpunk 20, the new Cyberpunk game.
Oh yeah, that's looking pretty awesome. I never really got around to playing The Witcher, but yeah, Cyberpunk's looking pretty good. And then Red Dead's coming out. And you're getting into get in some good times for the gaming season.
I'm thinking too. I don't know how we haven't talked about this at all, but I'm thinking if anybody on our panel here wants to do like a second like non-main show talk about video games here and there, like especially when new games. Yeah, especially when new games come out, we might end up doing that. We'll coordinate that later, but if anybody wants to hear us blather on about new games and stuff, then we might end up doing that.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us what you want us to blather on in the chat.
Yeah. Anybody wants to hear us talk about Smash Brothers or Fighter Z? I'm excited for those to both come out on the Switch. But let's get on the week. Let's get on the panel again once more and talk about what we got this week. So, Starscreamer, what'd you get?
I actually got some cool stuff. I thought it was just going to be a light week where I got Figure Arts Ken. On Saturday, I just was checking my Amazon wish list, and it said one left at $45, and I'm like, what? Sold!
Oh man, that's a good price for him.
At what do $45, I'm not complaining about just the single, just the single effect.
Yeah. What do you think about him? Because I mean, I know a lot of people were upset about the single effect, and he does kind of have like a Ken doll face almost.
Well, technically, he is a doll. But
yeah, well, yeah, honestly, smart ass.
The biggest, what he needed, his eyebrows are too short.
Yes, and his hair, I think, isn't bushy enough.
I can deal with the not bushy. I mean, that's actually the hair I think for Cody. But Ken's eyebrows are supposed to be long enough that he should be able to be thrown by them.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is, I think, one of the biggest hampers on him. I mean, it's the Street Fighter 2. I can deal with I can almost deal with his hair, but yeah, maybe if it was a little more matted and a little wider, I guess, fuller. But it's honestly, it's the eyebrows that make his face look so weird. I think aside from that, it's a good Shotokan fighter. The effect fits perfectly on there. I really think though that he should have come with a Hadoken. I mean, he's got the Hadoken hands. Why doesn't he have a Hadoken? So that's the biggest complaint. I think Akuma should have come with this effect in purple as well. Now that I look at it,
yeah.
So I'm hoping that maybe some people over in Ally Express might just make a little Street Fighter pack.
Yeah, they would make bank doing that. I know those Dragon Ball packs have been doing pretty well, the third party ones. So
oh yeah,
I definitely think there's a market for the Street Fighter stuff.
But yeah, and that I would love. Then later this week, I went down to my favorite vintage toy store, or at least, and I had a pocket full of credit. And actually, before I get to him, I first saw this girl for sale, which is the Play Arts Kai Arkham Knight Harley Quinn.
Very nice.
Which I have been wanting this figure since I saw a certain chill review about it. Because GameStop at one time had this on closeout, but me living in North Carolina, it never saw the light of day. So I picked her up, and if you catch my Instagram, I did a fantastic photo set with her. It's an incredibly photogenic figure.
She ended at $20. I never saw it for that low.
You got it for what, T? 60?
40.
40? Yeah, that's still good.
I got her, and then I also got this guy, which I'm now holding DX9's Carry. They had him,
fantastic.
and they had Calidus, and I was torn between the two. Fortunately, when taking a poll, I could access not only the Figure Action podcast crew, but I was able to get an elite reviewer from Hail Hasbro to say, get Carry. So,
hey, now, I'm probably the biggest Calidus fan, and I still told you get Carry.
Yeah, after I left the store.
No. Yeah.
But I am very impressed with DX9's Carry, and this is solid. I may spring to get the 3D printed little extra wing for the car mode, but
I'll send you one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I ordered the Repro label set, and that comes with one, and I also ordered T2R6's set, so I have an extra, so I'll just mail it to you.
Okay, cool. But yeah, this thing is so awesome. It scared away Tman 978 with its awesomeness.
Yeah, that transformation is one of the coolest third-party. I mean, honestly, I think that Calidus has one too. But I mean, I love. I've been taking mine out of my display case and just flipping them back and forth.
It's a good. Yeah, this is a tank. This is a box. This is a beautiful brick. You know, all perfect transformation. The gun is a little weird, but aside from that, it's cool.
Right on. Anything else?
That is about it. Is there an echo?
I think your speakers are. I think your speakers are picking up the mic.
Hopefully not. I don't have anything else with sound.
Oh, there it is. Now it's good, or sort of.
Anyway.
But yeah, that's all I got this week. After that uncomfortable silence.
Yeah. What was that Depeche Mode song? Ignore the silence.
Enjoy the silence.
Enjoy the silence.
It was Pulp Fiction when Uma Thurman and John Travolta are having dinner, and she's like, "Don't you hate that?" It's like, "Hey, what? Uncomfortable silence." All
right. Now I want to watch some Pulp Fiction.
I still have not seen that movie.
Really?
Nah.
Oh man, that should have been like Picture of the Year 1993.
To be fair, I only recently saw it like 6 months ago.
Jesus Christ!
What's wrong with you people?
A lot.
Un-American.
Yeah,
a lot wrong.
I have caught bits and pieces of it, but I've never dedicated the time to sit down and watch it from the beginning.
These young people.
We got Nathan Simmons in the chat reminding us of the Royale with cheese. Now you won't be able to get that out of your head. You'll never be able to go to a McDonald's again and think of a quarter pounder the same way.
It's the metric system.
Exactly. Parts, what'd you get this week, man?
I had an extremely light week. I was supposed to have a mail delivery today. USPS said 0 days. It's going to be delivered today. But then later they're like, nah, I'm not feeling it. So that's still out in the ether somewhere. So the only thing I got all week was fairly anything. It's this guy, which is a Hot Wheels Ghost from Star Wars, which I've not seen Rebels. Okay, I've seen 2 episodes of Rebels so far, but when I saw it flying past in Rogue One, I'm like, nah, I ought to see. And he was like $2 on Amazon. So that's it. That's what I've got. It's the boy's birthday this weekend, so a lot of extra cash went to party prep and presents for him. So.
Any highlights for his presents?
He's into big boy Lego sets, so that's fun for me. So he's Lego sets and he's a big Hot Wheels fan, so he's getting a bunch of Hot Wheels stuff. They actually, you say that makes me think. They actually, my wife, when we were in Target, found. It's a box. It's like this big, and for those that can't see, it's about the size of maybe 2 shoe boxes together. And the whole thing opens up to this racetrack, this Hot Wheels 4-lane racetrack, and it's like the whole. Nothing comes apart off of it. It doesn't. Ironically, it doesn't parts form at all. It just unfolds into this giant like racetrack, and it looks awesome. And I'm more excited to play with it than he is. So I'll let you know.
Now, do you build the Legos or does he build them?
So if he were to, he's just turning 5. So if he were to build them, I would still be up there building the first set with him under supervision. So no, I speed build them while he pretends to hand me parts, and then he gets to play with them afterwards. Now the heartbreaking thing is that he's a monster when it comes to keeping them together. He's not like sentimental at all to the thing that we've just built. He will play with it for 2 or 3 days, and he will demand it be crushed into pieces so he can reuse the pieces on other things. So this big fancy truck or helicopter set, he just says, "Daddy, can I get the pieces off of this?" I was like, but buddy, We just built that. Look how cool it is.
You need to buy him the random block set.
And we demolish them.
I mean, isn't that the fun of Legos? Is you demolish your sets and then you have to kind of Frankenstein monster yourself new things, and that's how you learn to build.
So that's what I thought too. Until one day 2 weeks ago, he came up to me and says we got him an RV set, a truck that carried an RV. It's from the Lego City collection. He came up to me with the instructions because I keep them all, and he says, "Daddy, could I get this back?"
Oh,
and now, mind you, he's got like 7 or 8 sets that he's demolished together, and then I have my those big totes we all have to store stuff in. I've got one of those that's half full of my Legos from childhood, and it's all mixed in.
That's kind of a testament to the longevity of Legos.
Yeah.
The
only pieces of Lego that had trouble was I actually made a Lego Voltron back in the day. And I had used the Kregel on some of the pieces, and I had to pry some of them apart.
The Kregel.
I was president of business before he was cool. So those are the only pieces that I've had trouble with because I had to peel them apart, and some of them shattered when I tried to get them apart. But the rest are holding up, no problem. Like there's no issue fitting them together. So long story short, we did end up rebuilding the RV almost perfectly. I had a sore back from it, and that was like 6 or 7 long nights from digging, but we got it.
Did you take the little clear blue Legos just so you could pretend that Heisenberg used it?
Right on. Hey. So, Joe, you got anything this week?
I also had a pretty light week. My only score was what you had mentioned earlier, the demoniacal fit, which is a third-party Goku and Vegeta head and hair sculpt kit. Which I'm actually really excited about these. They are borderline. They're just kind of remolding existing molds and recoloring them, which I'm okay with. But they are also coming out with complete figures. They have a Captain Ginyu on the horizon, so I'm going to try and pick up as many of these as I can just to kind of support what they're doing because I want more third-party Figuarts Dragon Ball stuff out there on the market.
Yeah, their first release is a Ginyu, or their first new release is a Ginyu.
Yeah, the first full release is a Ginyu. And it looks, all the pictures that they put out looks really good.
But then after that, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, that's surprising that there's, that the Ginyu Force isn't like a priority for Bandai. Like, those would sell.
Oh yeah.
Then
I'm hoping that they have success with this Ginyu, and I've already seen some prototypes of I think it was Chase. But what I don't know is if they can get the 50, 60 or up price for each one of them. So I'd be okay if they came out with like the Ginyu on his own and then maybe grouped the other 4 in like 2 packs or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe price them around $100. I think I'd probably go in on something like that.
Because
I hope they do more of them. Just keep them coming.
Yeah, they're almost cheaper than regular Figuarts releases at that point.
But then oddly, their second release after Ginyu is Random Frieza Force Soldier, isn't it? I'm sure he has a name, but he's not like.
But I mean, if you're gonna do like the Ginyu Force, you can't really reuse those molds, and as we know from third-party companies, like they don't own their factory. So if you're gonna do like a Frieza Force guy, shit, that's where you make your money, and you don't even have to do repaints because you'll have people troop building.
I think that's why they're doing that Random Frieza Soldier because I think they can use the legs. It looks like the legs, the torso, and the arms are pretty much the Ginyu sculpt.
Yeah.
So they're trying to reuse as much of that as they can.
They'd be smart to do Sabamen with better articulation as well.
Yes.
Because the one that came with Yamcha. Yeah, Cell Jr. is another one. What was the other? Weren't there a bunch of boos as well?
There's so many different boos. Well, we just got news of the new boo that's coming out, the Super Boo. But yeah, I think there's like 6 different versions of boo. I don't know if Tamashi's going to get around to every single one of those.
Yeah. Cell Juniors would be a good one. And
it's like all the different forms of Frieza.
This isn't even my final form.
And then final form 100%.
Yeah, now he's gold. You know what's funny? When I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, I kind of thought and accepted that Frieza was actually a woman.
So did I. I used to think
thought,
the same thing.
I was like, yeah, they keep saying he, but I don't know about this.
Them lips.
Well, I
Poor
mean,
Chris
Frieza-
Ayers.
yeah. But like the original voice actress was the same voice actress as Airazor, and I was like, I wonder if it's an issue with the dub because Beast Wars in Japan they made Airazor a male character, and they kind of made the whole relationship with Tigatron kind of odd, except they kind of made it like a father-son relationship in Beast Wars in Japan.
Well, it's also like in Transformers Cybertron versus Galaxy Force, Nitro Convoy was a woman. It was a female character. And they decided to make that one into a male because apparently...
No, the other way around.
Wait, it was the other way around.
Yeah,
other way around, yeah.
Nitro Convoy was male, and then in America they decided that they wanted to add a female character. So, right on.
I think it was the high heels.
I was going to say, T, you're on mute. What'd you get this week?
Oh, what I got was, thanks to Extra Zero, both of these things actually. Oh my God, Poison, and for some reason I'm Novastar. I was having a brain fart on her name, but he found both of these figures, and I haven't found them.
I went to like 6 Walmarts trying to find that figure. Like a chump.
Cool. Well, I did a review on it, so if you want to hear my opinions on this, you can watch that review.
So your opinions kind of line up with my own on this one. Novastar, yeah. I think that's the trend. Is we've all had light weeks because she's literally all I got this week. Actually, no, I did get one thing today, but I kind of have trouble counting it because of what it is, and this is the Ian Malcolm like injured pop.
Oh,
and it's
yeah, I want that one.
Yeah, I picked it. Well, I got 2 of them. My best friend collects pops. And I was like, oh, Chris will probably want one of these. And, when I got home, he finally responded like, oh, bro, I got one when Target opened. So it sounds like Parts is going to get my spare.
Right. I couldn't see. Is that the one where he's laying down in a sexy pose?
Yep, that's the sexy Ian Malcolm.
Parts has disappeared, so I will claim that chair.
Yeah.
I see an empty chair here.
I can go back in the morning, Joe, and I can see if there's another one.
Where did you find that at?
It's a Target exclusive.
Oh, Target exclusive. That's why I'm not seeing them anywhere. I didn't even know it was a Target exclusive. I've seen pictures of it online. Didn't know it was Target.
We could steal Parts toys while he's not there.
And then last week I didn't mention it, but I also get the Unique Toys dogs that go with Perukill. So now I have the full set of Steel Jaws that go with them.
That was smart. They did sell those solo?
Yeah, they sell them solo, and the cool thing is there's I guess a lead dog, if you can see, and he's like done in like a black color. So the one that came with Parakill himself is like this silver color. So there's 2, and then there's a third one. So it kind of gives them their own little identities.
Printing money. Smart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like tons and tons of people probably wrote Unique Toys DX9 and were like, hey, we want more of these, and then they just came out of the blue and were like, yeah, we're making more of them. You can buy them in a pack. Same exact molding, so you can still store the gun on them. The only difference is if you get the 2-pack, the one comes with the black paint scheme, which it's cool. It differentiates it. So that'll be neat when I get that display.
Do they have articulation?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they've got heads on a ball joint. Actually, it's on a double ball peg. The mouth opens and closes. Ball joints on the shoulders. Just the standard elbow, and the paws are on ball joints. The same thing for the rear legs. So
every ball joint's a swivel.
Every ball joint can be a swivel. There's no waist. It would have been nice if they put in like put this whole diaphragm on a ball joint. But for what they are, I think you can get them on the Chosen Prime. You get the 2-pack for $25. I got these courtesy of GCI for about the same. But for an accessory, I think they're great, and it rounds out the display for Parakill. And also I got the replacement head for my Bat Mode DX9, or not my DX9, my Fans Toys Dracula, since mine had like the screw cover that was all kind of bent out of shape.
Shanky.
And in the chat, my Geek Life writes that he can't find Nova Star. We found Octopunch, Bomb Burst, and Bludgeon. And I just want to say, check your Walmarts. They're showing up there. I had to go to about 6 Walmarts, but I found the last Walmart I went to actually had 3 cases, and there's 2 Nova Stars to a case. So there were 6 Nova Stars in stock. I picked up 3 of them. 1 for me, 1 for Tman, and 1 for Deluxe. So, it was pretty easy.
You said there were 3 to a case?
2 to a case. So, but they had 3 cases total, and in the rest of those cases are the rest of the Terracons. So, I guess they're trying to sell some of those abominaces that they have on the shelf. So, let's get into some stuff from the week. Keep this moving along. As per the title of the show, I Like Turtles. NECA revealed that set of was it 6-inch turtles? They're going to be a GameStop exclusive.
7.
They're 7 inches.
Well, they're like 6.5.
Okay. Well, needless to say, they're smaller scale turtles. They're going to be a GameStop exclusive, and a lot of people are upset about this because they got the SDCC box set. It's kind of looking like there's going to be less accessories. You can pre-order the set online. It looks like they're due out in February. What do you guys think about this?
I think they shouldn't be upset because they got early access. They got more accessories. They have it right now. They can lord it over us for months. By the time we get the ones that's out now, it'll be over for them. So they should be all right.
They get exclusive packaging.
That's what I was gonna say. The exclusive packaging. I mean, how many Transformers box sets come out with exclusive packaging, and then they get a wide retail release?
I hunted this down. I should have this. I should be the only one who has this, unless you want to pay me $500 for my turtles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much.
Was that supposed to be Master Splinter?
That was just random nerd.
I thought it was MGO. Stuff like that.
It's just.
I think those are the ones that are the most upset, are the ones that are trying to double their price on their turtle set. I was just on Facebook and saw another one, $300. So like T-Man said, you got early access to it. You're getting more accessories. You're getting the great packaging. What is there to really complain about? And now everyone gets a chance at getting these, great figures. And they're not going to get as much as we, got the SDC set, but they're going to get the figure, which in of itself is, for $22. They probably could have gone a little bit higher on that price, and they kept the $22. I think it's great.
Yeah. No, I know there's some
people releasing the diorama.
Right, exactly. That's not included. And I know there are some people that are upset because NECA talked about the exclusivity and only being able to sell it at the convention. But, I don't know whether there's some caveat to selling it at GameStop, with them kind of owning Think Geek. But, I also agree. I think that this is great because it gets them into the hands of more collectors. And I think that, NECA really needs more exposure right now.
I am curious about it being GameStop, though. Why do you think it's GameStop instead of Target?
It's hard to say. I know Target's rolling out the NECA section, but in fairness, GameStop's had it. They've been selling the Pennywise figures. They've been selling a lot of the horror figures, and they may have kind of said, hey, there's a lot of Ninja Turtles video games. We're a pretty big video game provider. Well, even though the Turtles movies have nothing to do with the games.
They're releasing the villains from the Turtles video game, so maybe that has something to do with that too.
Yeah, that's right. They're doing the pixelized version. Which ones was it? Was it Bebop and Rocksteady?
It was Leatherhead.
Yep. Shredder was
Leather. Those rock soldiers.
Yeah.
Those are the main two I remember. I can't remember if there was like separate foot soldiers.
Plus,
Ooh, we've
Think
got,
Geeks actually. The Think Geeks have smaller distribution. They're able to get them out. They know they'll get them out on the shelves. So
when we were talking about the size, the TKO podcast chimed in to remind us that every inch counts.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I do think that for what it's worth, every GameStop that I go into has a better organized action figure section. It's very tight, but they have things that you'd want to buy. I went in the other day, and there was actually a Jaina Solo and Spider-Ham on the shelf. And, you know, I haven't seen those figures in Walmart, Target. And, you know, I think that GameStop is catering better to the customer base. We get Nerd Out right that they're super happy that they're filling the demand for the turtles, and ask, are we collectors or investors? What's the motivation for your purchase? You know, and I think that's important too. Why should you want to alienate people from getting into collecting? You know, it's always hammered in that the toy market is having a lot of hurdles. The collector market's having a lot of hurdles. So I think it's better to have people, you know, find these products be accessible rather than being turned away and saying, you know, what's the point when I can never get what I'm looking for?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Nintendo Amiibo and the NES Classic. Everybody wanted them when they were rare, but now that they re-released it, we see NES Classics like stacked up high.
And Nintendo said they were only going to do that one run, and case in point, you know. But it's better.
I say they did the Super Nintendo, and the people realized those games were better.
Well, I just think it's that Nintendo finally came to their senses that they were missing out. You know, when you look at the third-party market making all the knockoff NES classics, why allow those companies to take money right out of your pocket when you could fill the demand for the supply?
And I think in that case, it was a little different because Nintendo had control over how many production runs they were going to do and how many they were going to make. And they said they were going to do one production run. Whereas NECA with the Turtles, I don't think they were in as much control. They had deals with Nickelodeon and everything in place where they could only make so many sets of those Turtles. And I don't know if they went back and renegotiated how that all went down. If they said, hey, this is wildly popular, we want to do this instead. And they gave them an extra license. Those are things we'll probably never know, but it is a little bit of a different scenario.
You know, we didn't put this on the doc, but speaking of supply and demand, I don't know if anybody, well, I know you guys all saw, but for those listening and those in the chat, Big Bad Toy Store had the Soul Chigokin Voltron in stock today, and they were charging $450
for all 10 minutes.
I owned him for half an hour.
You wait. So when you say you owned it for half an hour, did you commit to buy and withdraw it, or?
Well, it was. I knew Adrian has gotten big into Soul, so I want him badly. He's one of my holy grails, but I'm not willing to pay. It pissed me off right off the bat that BBTS. I'm not going to pay. You know, eBay. You go there, you're going to see scalpers on eBay, right?
Yeah.
BBTS is charging right off the cuff $150 over retail price. Like, no, fuck that. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to have BBTS be a retail scalper for this thing. I don't want it so bad that I'm willing to pay $150 over.
Technically, retail price was $275.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, but I knew our buddy Adrian is a Soul Chigokin nut, and he, like me, has the Voltron held in the #1 spot of most wants. So he was not online. For anybody that doesn't know by now, he's in Tokyo and he's 12 hours off. So he wasn't in the chat at the moment. We tried to hit him up and tell him it was in stock again. So I ended up throwing down a pre-order for him just in case he were to want it. But all that said and done, he kind of came to the conclusion that, you know, bad timing, bad price, wasn't good. It wasn't made to be. So I owned it long enough for him to decline having it, and then, you know, I got rid of it. I released the pre-order. I had said, well, you know, I could keep the pre-order, pay for it, and then throw it up on eBay, but fuck that. I'm not going to do that. Let somebody else have the pleasure of buying it from BBTS at near enough retail price, I guess. You know,
I'm proud of you guys.
We still know the story behind it. Maybe somebody else was hoarding them and they sold them to BBTS for $375 each or something like that.
Well,
you know?
to go back to the NES Classic, like GameStop and ThinkGeek, late in the NES Classic's life, ended up having a bunch of them, and they were selling them as high price bundles. You know, with things. You
Yeah, I
know,
remember
That pissed me off too.
Yeah, and you know, with BBTS, you know, maybe it was people had them in their pile of loot for a long time. Who knows how they acquired them?
I think your pile of loot's only good for 90 days, right? So
yeah. Although I think there's some of the old. I don't know how they changed, but you know, at any rate, like I still think it's shady to be charging that much of a markup for something. You know, it's basically and I get it, supply and demand, but it's kind of. I don't know. I'd like to know like what the circumstances were with those Voltrons, like where they came from and why the markup was there. You know, with it.
I missed if anybody saw or said it while it was out, but it wasn't just Voltron. It was a bunch of Tamashii stuff. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't just that.
Really?
There was a bunch of back order stuff that went up. Like the only other one that I was interested in was Android 16. Android 17 went back on for pre-order. The original SH Figure Arts Android 17. That was Joe. What was he when he first was he a 60 or 70 when he first came out?
Yeah, 17 was like 59,
Yeah, so they had them posted for, as soon as I saw the picture on the splash page, I was like, I'm going to jump on this. $120.
Holy shit.
What, $120 for that. And that shit sold out fast, Jack. That shit sold out. And
I'm going to say they bought a store. I'm going to say they bought an e-tailer that went under. I'm actually going to say that.
Sounds right. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. I think that's what happened.
And they bought them for, you know, obviously they bought them for cost, but they wanted to make their costs back, which was so BTS has to put their markup on that.
Yeah.
I actually have faith in the oxymoron of BBTS's big business ethics, because if they were really being jerks, they could have just taken them and thrown them straight on eBay for $500 each and still would have sold.
Well, you know what? Even if they had to pay over like that, I mean, that's not. Again, good on them for making them available, but that's not my problem to pay the extra money for. You know, as long as there's model kits out there, and you know, I'm sure the Androids are going to get a premium color edition sooner or later, or like Joe had said, the super versions will be released sooner or later. You just got to wait it out. That's my message to everybody listening. Like, don't pay money, just wait that shit out.
Once figures go up to a certain price, they no longer exist to me in my mind. Like, I just don't pay a certain price. I just give up at that point.
Well, I think we'll, what's your cutoff there, out of curiosity?
On like if something was $60 and maybe it's like $10 more or $20 more. Well, actually, let me take that back. Because when MP10, the Toys R Us version came out at $99.99, and then they re-released it at $159, I was happy to pay that much. If it was re-released at $200, I would have just gave up.
Yeah, and then of course, like chumps, we ended up buying that Hasbro Asia re-release for. Yeah. Actually, I think I got it while it was still $140, so I didn't feel too ripped off because I got the key to Vector Sigma and Vector Sigma.
But then, you know, whoever knew, though, right? I mean, you didn't know at the time, but now I think we all kind of have their game down.
Yeah, we do.
You just didn't know what was good. Like, there's that panic that's associated with seeing something, and you feel like it's going to be the only time you're gonna be able to buy it, or you know, that one time you're like, this is it, this is my moment, and if I don't snatch it up now, I'm never going to see it again. And it almost always comes back around. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The good thing for me is I was able to sell that year the Horus Optimus for over $100, so I was happy about that.
Nice.
I almost bought that thing.
I got a horse to sell you.
Hey, Simmons writes, that's why I bought the Takara MP10 for $100 off of TFW. That's a good discussion for another show. Is buying, you know, our experiences buying off the secondary market and saving some big cash. Actually, I got a good deal on a figure today. I'll talk about it next week But
actually, the topic should be the extreme. What's your moment of triumph, and what is your moment of shame? What's the most you paid for something useless?
Do I want to talk about Quake Wave? Like T selling the original Quake Wave for $45, and
I think he sold it. I think it sold.
Yeah,
it's sold already. Yeah. And I remember buying a Quake Wave for about 9 times that cost.
We'll talk about that one next week. Throw that one on the docket. Throw that one on the docket.
Well, I sold that Quake Wave for more than I paid for it.
On a happier, yeah, I know you sold it for more than you paid for it because I brokered that deal. You got that for $20.
Well, everybody was like, "Oh, that's a good price." So I'm like, "Yeah, it is a good price that I'm selling it for."
The guy you just sold it to is watching our show tonight. He is now going, "What?"
He'd be all right. I think he does watch my channel. I don't know if he watches this one.
Yeah, we advertise this one on your channel.
Well, guess what? I paid what I charged you. That's what I paid. Zero's lying.
Give us a like on our. If you're in the room and you got the Tman deal, give us a like.
If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, give us a share, and again, live chat's still going on. We got a bunch of people in here tonight, and give us a hug, yeah. And if you're Matt Deluxe Baldwin, give us a hey there, everybody.
Hey there.
So moving on to some fun news. We got some Marvel Legends reveals that I'm really excited about. Let's scroll back up. This comes courtesy of Toy Arc. I think I said last week that if they do more 90s X-Men, I was going to be sold. And oh boy, did they deliver on a couple of these. I guess Wendigo kind of counts, but we've got Weapon X, we've got Mystique, Guardian, and Wendigo. How are you guys feeling these? Because I'm really excited about the 4 of them.
Mystique has boobs, so I'm probably going to get her.
Yeah, I like Mystique and Weapon X. I'm interested in due to his amount of detail, but the other 2 are they're going to ride on the shelf for me.
Well, Wendigo's going to be the Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, I think that's kind of obvious that Wendigo will be the Build-A-Figure for this line. I'm curious what the other 3 figures for the line are going to be. I would assume, Gambit probably is going to be likely. But you think Weapon X is going to be the one figure that doesn't have a bath piece?
Maybe because he
all
comes
that
with
hardware
a lot.
with that.
Yeah. So probably, so Gambit's a good call.
Well, Gambit better be 2 to a box, 2 to a case as well, not just that Wolverine.
Yeah, because he's
Garrison Kane. I'm calling it now.
You think so?
Garrison Kane, Weapon X, and that will look awesome with my Liefeld Deadpool.
Fair enough.
And then they're already cheap. Guardian's a cheap repaint of Spider-Man UK, and then the other one they could probably do is a North Star.
Yeah, I was thinking North Star would be a good one to do. Has he had a Marvel Legend yet? Like in the Hasbro line?
No.
Just the 3-inch.
Yeah.
There hasn't. Their Alpha Flight hasn't really gotten much love. I mean, they had the Puck Build-A-Figure, which, oh my gosh, if they do this, if they don't do that, his secondary market just skyrocketed with that release. Puck hasn't been done. I mean, we've got Sasquatch now. They could do Shaman. They could do Snowbird. If they do Snowbird, then we are definitely getting the Storm because she has the same cape thing that Storm has.
Yeah, I want a 90s Storm really bad.
So
they said they were releasing her. They was asking which color did we want, silver or white.
Definitely white.
But they said they're gonna. I think they're gonna try to do a variant thing like they did with Psylocke.
Yeah, and that'd be an easy one for them to do, and then people double dip on it because they've been doing that a lot lately with Mysterio and Shocker, Psylocke. Those 3 come to mind.
Was the Psylocke a running change, or was that a variant?
It's a running change.
Those are both answers.
Yeah, running change. Shaka was a running change too with the lightning bolt on his belt.
Yeah. But I'd like to see him do like an essential '90s X-Men pack, where you get Wolverine, you get Jubilee, Cyclops, Jean, Storm, Beast.
Has there been a Hasbro Jubilee?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a Build-A-Figure.
Back history.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a horrid Build-A-Figure that cost way too much, but you can get a KO for it now.
So that's one they might be primed to re-release in a better form.
Well, hopefully
I would love to do the '90s one.
Yeah, hopefully they do another one because, like I said, when I got that Age of Ultron Hulk, I was like, man, Marvel Legends have come a long way.
The Jubilee that they released, was it the full yellow trench coat version, or?
Nah, it was a more up-to-date version.
Okay,
Like,
so they can still go back and do the '90s.
Yeah.
She has.
When I started collecting Marvel Legends, like they were selling that wave, and then all of a sudden they recalled it around the time that Marvel was trying to not advertise mutants anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what now. Figures from that one go bank. They're the Magneto, even though it's not the best.
Yeah.
Strife is probably the big one from that set.
And I saw him in Toys R Us so many times and didn't buy it.
Gort chimed in with something I agree with, and he says that he'd like the full '90s X-Men cast, but as Rebel Tech.
That might happen.
Wolverine is in the '90s costume. As I look up at him, he's the only X-Men we got right now.
Yeah. And
they would translate really well. Rebel Tech Gambit. Oh, geez.
I look at him too. I like the Rebel Tech stuff, and then I know we talked about it. I believe last week, the Cyclops that's coming out for Mezco. I think looks really good, and I could kind of get behind like a '90s-ish stylized version. I think Rebel Tech would be a bit more slavish to the comic cartoon appearance. But I think Mezco could do a really cool '90s homage set too. I know Rebel Tech already has a pretty good looking Magneto. I know the articulation is hit or miss for some.
I forgot about the Magneto.
Yeah, but that's what Marvel Legends needs to do too. Is that '90s era Magneto, the purple and maroon deco, and they could do some really cool effect pieces.
Yeah.
Was that the one you're holding now, Lowak? That's the House of M deco, isn't it?
No, it's not the Marvel now, but I think maybe the Age of Heroes.
Okay.
I've been out of comics for so long, but yeah, I mean it's a cool costume, but it's definitely not his most iconic look.
Yeah.
Somebody told me what it was in my comments, but I can't remember already.
I gotta.
I like the head sculpt. That's about it.
Yeah, it definitely is a nice head sculpt. What they've been doing with the eyes, I guess they've been going in and putting the eyes behind.
They're not derping the eyes anymore.
No,
that's the nice
they're
thing.
not. Yeah, I remember trying to help T find a Misty Knight that didn't look like she had Forrest Whitaker eye.
Yeah, and none exists at all.
That's a fun thing. If they ever make a T'Chaka or what was the name of Forrest Whitaker's character in Black Panther? But that would be like the one occasion where they could actually get away with having a lazy eye in a Marvel Legends.
But then they'll nail it, and it won't be that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're trying to find one with a lazy eye.
Secret Empire X Magneto.
Well, there we go.
Or Secret Empire X-Men is what it's called.
Secret Empire, Marvel's really worst story.
Well, that's debatable. Every time they try and kill somebody, I don't know. I think that's.
That was when Captain America was an agent of Hydra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. It's
all right. Yeah. And these Marvel Legends announcements come from the Fan Expo Canada. Actually, we'll go over one that wasn't on the doc either, but there were some studio series that were revealed this week.
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of excited about it. I think one of them is exceptionally cheap. These also came from Fan Expo Canada. where the Marvel Legends were revealed. And we've got 5. We got Barricade, has appeared in the first 3 movies. We've got Crankcase, which I believe almost rounds out the Dreads. Wasn't there a dog Dread that we still haven't really? I think it came out for Age of Extinction. I could be wrong. Clunker Bumblebee.
It was a cyberverse.
Cyberverse. You're right. Clunker Bumblebee, Sideswipe, and World War II Bumblebee. I'll go ahead and I'll share out my screen here.
That World War II Bumblebee looks pretty cool.
I'm excited about that one the most, I think.
I like the Barricade.
And like the Barricade looks good too. So we'll go over Barricade first. He has like the same accessory as the Masterpiece Barricade, and his transformation, from what I can tell, he probably has a faux chest. He's probably got a bit of a backpack, but I like the paint apps on him. He's got the same kind of weapon as the Masterpiece. It doesn't look like it spins. It looks like it's probably a static piece, but to be honest, I'm okay with that. And I think he has a little bit better proportions than the Masterpiece, until we see the back.
Yeah, that's a running theme with them as major backpacks.
Yeah. But, hey, as MGO says, don't display them from the back.
Now, you seen the new movie Bumblebee's backpack?
I have. The VW Bug.
I hope that's mistransformed.
It has to.
That is like,
it has to be.
It is.
That's awful. It's got to be wrong.
It is nuts.
Yeah, we've got Crankcase here too. He looks like he's a straight up repaint of
Crowbar.
Crowbar, thank you. Just looks like he's using some bronze or gold. I like this. I like the silver and gold. Yeah, and it'll be nice to round them out and have the 3 Dreads from Dark of the Moon.
I still have to buy a Berserker.
Yeah, you do. I'm surprised. You probably just need to pop into Ross and get one for cheap.
Yeah, I never see them.
Yeah.
Oh, come to North Carolina. We have them full price.
There you go.
Oh,
they just put them on the shelves.
Just put them on the shelves?
I just probably somewhere down here.
North Carolina sounds like Kmart down there.
So this is the one I'm the most pissed off about, because this is the Bumblebee we should have got in the first place.
Yes.
With the studio series. It's the Clunker Bumblebee as he appeared in the first Transformers movie, which kind of means that the Bumblebee that we got, the OG Camaro one, was not the first movie Bumblebee. But I'm guessing at the end of the Bumblebee movie, he probably takes the Camaro form, considering they're selling it for, SDCC with that weird puke-colored gold plastic, which it's like, hey, it won't get GPS, but it looks like shit.
If that holds together better than that first studio series, I may have to get that one.
If they pin the parts and has better tolerances, I'll probably pick it up, just because I do appreciate the paint job that they've got on here.
He's going to stay on the shelf. He will shelf for
him. Next to World War II Bumblebee, this is the one I'm most excited about.
As well.
I wish it was. I don't know where you're at with this, Parts, but I wish that this was the Revenge of the Fallen one. It's the convertible version of Sideswipe.
Yeah,
it's Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon, but it's yeah. I still think it looks really good. I love the bot mode. I've always loved the bot mode for this guy.
I've gone on record many times as saying I don't like the movie verse stuff, but the Sideswipe was always, from Revenge of the Fallen, Sideswipe's always been one of my favorites. And I think it's criminal he didn't get more screen time. He was a one and done, well, 2 and done, I think. But this I haven't gotten any studio series yet. I almost pulled the trigger a couple of times, but I think this guy, as long as he reviews well, I'm gonna pick him up.
I think the cool thing about doing the Dark of the Moon version with him being a convertible is he will have a lot less kibble, having no roof.
I like the way his shoulders articulate. That the part of the fender on his chest, it like moves with the shoulders. But one thing I can't tell is those spiky things on, like, is that like permanently in his hand, or do you just put them?
I'm assuming that they're weapons that are separate. Yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed about Studio Series is that the weapons don't transform out of them; they're separate pieces.
That was always the cool part about the original toy from the Revenge of the Fallen one. And I actually broke that and was pissed because that's the one I wish I kept in good condition because of those blades that folded out. That was a really cool gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the Human Alliance version of him. I love that figure.
I'm looking at him now, and am I the only one that sees like Jack Skellington in the face of the car? Like I see like the two eyes and the mouth. It was like Jack Skellington.
Oh yeah.
That was like seeing the chicken in that Thundercracker figure years ago.
And last but not least, we've got the World War II Bumblebee, which I'm most excited about.
Definitely thought that was Hound at first.
I mean, I think he'd look really awesome next to Hound. I'm looking at this now. It looks like his hammer actually is the turret from the, or his hammer forms the turret in there.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty cool weapons integration.
He's sort of like Cybertron Defense Hot Shot.
Yeah, a little bit. Somebody did a Digibash of this earlier as Cup, and I thought it looked really, really cool where they changed the green to a more aqua color and had Cup with the cigar.
That'd be awesome.
Now,
if they could explain how he goes from that to a tiny beetle.
Maybe they will in the beginning of the Bumblebee movie. Who knows?
And why he never went back to
World
something.
War II, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sneaks away and finds a bug sitting somewhere and scans it.
I mean, if he's hiding out in Germany for a bit, VW gets shipped over to America.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
Maybe they'll be smart enough to do that.
But the Beatles version he is like the 70s one, right? Yeah, I think they're not going to answer that. So we just have to forget all about it.
Sense, and they're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I have faith in Travis Knight. I've seen a lot of his animated movies. I've seen all of his animated movies actually, and the guy's good at telling a story. Now, it depends on whether or not, and Nate Simmons tells me I'm hoping for too much. It depends whether or not the studio, because, again, is this a director's movie or is it a producer's movie, Are they going to allow this guy to do, anything really creative? Are they going to allow him to call any shots or do anything, to try and focus on the story? Or are they just kind of in this trying to, advertise products and, do product placement and have explosions and sell toys? What are they trying to accomplish? I'm hopeful that even if all that stuff's there, they can still manage to tell a good story and connect dots.
I'm hopeful. He seems like to be more of a fan of Transformers than Michael Bay was. I feel like Michael Bay probably didn't know anything about Transformers until they presented it to him.
Yeah.
I heard for this movie, they let him make one decision. They called him in and said, here's a picture of a character. What do you want to name this jet?
Blitzwing.
What do you want to name this guy? He's like, I got a perfect name. And here we all are.
What's cool, though, is, and again, I don't know how much screen time he's going to have, but did you all hear who they got to do the voice of Blitzwing?
Yeah.
Who?
It's David Sobolov, who was the voice of Depth Charge and Beast Wars, and he was also the voice of Shockwave and Transformers Prime. So, yeah.
I met him. I have an autographed picture of him. A picture of Depth Charge he autographed for me.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that he'll at least kind of, bring some presence to the role. I just hope he gets enough screen time. And that's really what I hope for all the robots in this movie. It seems like they have a smaller cast. It's just the only ones that are confirmed are Dropkick, Shatter, Barricade, and Blitzwing, aside from Bumblebee and Prime. So,
I have a lot of hope for it, but at the same time, there's like this little part of me that's just kind of waiting for Is there going to be a reboot?
Disappointment.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
disappointing. I'm just like 2 years, 3 years later after Bumblebee's out, are we going to get a reboot of the entire franchise? Which is what we're all kind of like hoping they go back to that and do a more G1 movie series. And this kind of seems like an odd thing to do, to go back and do a Bumblebee prequel still set in the same Bayverse.
Well, this was all set though.
Yeah.
That news coming out about it being rebooted. That was part of this. That was on the slate well before all that. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing they just need to follow through with it.
Parts is right. I mean, they had a new trilogy announced, and the Bumblebee movie was in production when Age of Extinction. I'm not Age of Extinction. Last Night was in theaters because they had announced like a new trilogy. They were going to do the Bumblebee movie. They were going to do Transformers 7, and which I guess they were calling the Bumblebee movie the 6th movie, because it might have probably originally been planned to open something else up and then do whatever they were going to do with Unicron. Actually, I think they planned for more. I think they planned for something like 13 total films, and then Last Night kind of stunk it up, and they're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, remember the news about the writer's room, and they brought everybody in, and they all brainstormed the future of Transformers and had all these grand schemes, and and then the Last Night happened, and here we are.
Well, I knew the Last Night was going to be a disaster when Robert Kirkman walked out of the writer's room. They made a big deal about bringing in Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of the Walking Dead comics. And I don't have anything nice to say about the show, but I'm a big fan of the comics. And he basically was, from what I heard, was, he left because of creative differences. So, kind of gives you an impression. It can only kind of go one way when they leave because of that. And then, for those of us that saw The Last Night, that movie was a disaster. I would still argue that's the worst movie I've ever seen.
I'm still, yeah. I mean, Kirkman's a great writer. Again, Kirkman had issues with the television show, so can't hold that against him. If you ever read the comic Invincible, you'll know why Kirkman is freaking amazing.
Best comic
Absolutely.
series out there.
I know Joe has something to say about that.
Oh yeah. I was
Steve
really saddened when they canceled that comic, because
They didn't cancel it. They ended it. He ended it in the most perfect way he could have.
Yeah.
So you guys want a good read? I'm telling you now, I'm not getting paid by it. Go pick up the complete Invincible collection. You will thank me. You'll read every book going, cool, cool, cool. Oh my God. Oh, holy. No. I ain't going back. I mean, you'll be yelling at the book. And then it ends in the most perfect way possible with a great ending, and life is good. You close it and you're like, I am glad I finished that.
Checks in the mail.
I can get down with that.
So that's...
So I think we were talking a little bit about NECA earlier. I think this has been a discussion we wanted to get into for a bit. How do you guys feel about soft goods on your figures? Earlier today, I popped into our group chat, and I was really excited about pictures of the SH Figuarts Thor that's coming out, along with the Wasp. And the Thor actually looks like he's using a cloth cloak, cape, not cloak.
Soft goods.
So, what do you guys think? How do you feel about soft goods on your figures? NECA, Hot Toys. I know Parts, you've dabbled in Hot Toys. And then some of you guys, do Mezco a little bit.
I like soft goods. One of my first lines that had soft goods was G.I. Joe Sigma 6, and I used to love that about them. I wish they had better articulation, but the soft goods was not a problem for me.
What was soft goods on Sigma 6?
Like Duke had a vest, Heavy Duty had the pants, and they all used to have like random pieces of, mostly like coats, like long range had a big jacket. So Cobra Commander had the cape. So they all had all the more expensive versions, the ones that were $15. They all had soft goods.
And I see Lutwak there stroking a Batman cape.
Somebody's
That's not
TV
Batman.
or something's loud.
Oh, it's Darth Vader.
That's
From
it.
the back, it looked. I couldn't see that.
I thought
What,
that
you
was
trying to-
Batman, too.
Are you trying to say all black cape figures look alike?
You know what? I'm apparently guilty of it.
No,
Dark
well,
Batman.
it was hard trying to find something to grab on hand with the topic. No,
Yeah, I bet it was hard trying to find some grab on it.
Boom.
no. I mean, soft goods when done right are awesome. I mean, like I said, this Vader is one of my favorite figures. Kylo Ren from The Force Awakens had plenty of soft goods. I knew a lot of people, but when the Kylo Ren figure arts came out, it was all solid plastic. I actually knew a lot of people who took the plastic off the figure arts Kylo Ren and took the soft goods off the Hasbro one and put them on together. So when done right, it brings frankly, a lot of love to a figure.
Yeah. I think it's about moderation. I think sometimes they do it when you have big seams and big zippers. I think that's always a problem. Those are like kind of standout things. I don't have too many, but I'm in the same camp. When it's done right, I'm holding up Darth Revan right now from the Black Series. And I think Darth Revan is one of the best examples of using soft goods and soft plastic to really achieve a good look on a figure. Like the top of the cloak is done in a soft plastic, but the cape and the bottom part of the cloak are I guess it's kind of a skirt almost. It's
Yeah.
the cloak. But,
I kind of wish that one was all soft goods on that guy.
I wish the hood was.
It was like the Praetorian Guard. The only one that had soft goods was the one in that Think Geek GameStop pack for like $100. And the soft goods add to the articulation because it's fabric that gets out of the way, as opposed to plastic that you got to kind of hope that it doesn't knock your figure over.
One example of the when soft goods are bad is on the Black Series Luke and Leia that have on like the white gown or white robe or whatever you call it. Like they have awesome articulation under it, but you can't see any of that articulation. You would have no clue that they have double jointed elbows, like both of them, and double jointed knees. Well, on Luke you would see the knees, but not Leia. Leia is crazy articulated underneath of that gown, but you can't see any of the articulation.
Yeah, I think that's another case where they could have done like a mismatch of it, where they could have done partial plastic, partial soft goods. Steve Brent in the chat, he writes that the Range Trooper has nice soft goods, and I would be inclined to agree there. The that fur effect that they did.
Yeah, that is good.
Captain Phasma, the new one coming out, is gonna have soft goods. The old one, the original Captain Phasma figure had that hard shell, which completely took away all her articulation.
Even the Figuarts has it, where they use kind of a soft plastic. Our buddy Gort writes that Luke wasn't soft goods; he was a truck stop napkin.
Sorry. The best thing for Farm Boy Luke are those arms, and a lot of them have been butchered to make many of an Electra have double jointed elbows.
I think that we'll see New Hope Luke and Leia redone with the digital face paint. I think that they're gunning for the Figuarts market. That they're trying to go in and they know that if they do better versions of the figures, they're gonna get people's dollars. So I think we'll probably see new versions of those with a mixture. That's one thing I got to give to them, is that they're really learning from their mistakes. Now I think that they need to go and do better versions of the iconic characters, make them readily available, and they really need to do aliens. That's the other thing too. I'd like to see a Boba Fett with a soft goods. I guess that's not really a cape so much as it is a piece of fabric hanging from him, but
it is.
That would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Black one is fabric.
It is? Oh, well,
Yeah.
I never got my hands on him, so
I could reach over and grab it, but
now you can actually reach over and grab something.
But I'm surprised. I mean, I know the Star Wars Black and the Marvel Legend guys are kind of like rivals in the Hasbro department. But just to go back to the Magneto figure, man, if this guy had a soft goods cape, that would have been freaking epic. Or the Thor, like you mentioned with the Thors. So Star Wars Black proves that you can put soft goods on a $20 figure.
You know what would make Marvel Legends next level? Wires and the soft goods.
Yes.
Ooh. Nice.
They probably charge $25, $30 for that.
But would you pay it?
If it's a character I want, yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at my shelf right now. That would just save so much shelf space. That Prowler?
Oh yeah. I would have loved a cape on him, a fabric cape on him.
Yeah,
So one of
this
the
guy
things
here.
I've been thinking of is NECA. How are they with soft goods? Do they do them at all?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm wanting a 6, whatever the 6.5-inch scale turtles. I want the Splinter to go with them, and that has to have soft goods.
I can't think of any offhand, but I've seen several NECA figures that have soft goods.
I'm trying to think, because like the Predator soldiers are all solid plastic, and the Space Marines are.
I think it's one of the horror people.
MMC uses soft goods.
Oh yeah, they're like Michael Myers and they're Jasons. They may have soft goods.
Oh, they had a higher end collection line because they had a Jason with soft goods. They also had an Eddie from Iron Maiden with soft goods. They did have a leather face. I saw a lot of those at FYE places.
So the big question is, if NECA does a Splinter, do they just do a soft goods, the clothing, or do they do like actual fur, or do they leave that plastic?
It's going to be plastic.
You
gotta have the whiskers and everything.
I mean, you can do wire whiskers. I mean, Masterpiece Cheetor has whiskers of all things, and he doesn't have any soft goods on him.
Yeah, the NECA Crash Bandicoot, the fur pattern on his skin on him looks very nice, and that's all plastic.
I'll tell you too, Hot Toys scare me. I mean, the price points is up there, but and I don't know this offhand. I don't know if anybody you guys would know, but how old are the sort of oldest modern Hot Toys? I asked that because I'm curious how all that stuff will hold up over the course of the next few years.
I want to say 2008 was when I first caught glimpses of Hot Toys.
And I wonder how that first 2008 Hot Toys holding up now.
That's
still
a good question.
I mean, you don't feel so bad saying an $80 Mezco or something. That's still a chunk of change, but the $250, $300 Hot Toy, I would hope holds up over the course of time. Now, I also realize that you're not supposed to be handling it every day, doing action poses in the splits, every time you manipulate it. But still, hopefully it's something that'll last for a long time for folks. That's really the only thing that's kept me from diving too far into anything Hot Toys. I haven't handled any myself. I've only ever seen them through glass.
You didn't touch them at the meetups?
No, I'm usually too afraid to. I don't want to be the one to do something.
That homemade suit Spider-Man with the Tom Holland head, that one is, if you want to play with the figure, you got to get that one. Because the way the fabric is on his clothes, it doesn't matter how you bend that thing, and he was extremely posable.
And hopefully go ahead.
As I say, that's the thing is we plan on having Kevin on the show, and that'd be a good question to pose to him: is how durable are his hot? Well, guys, he gets so much stuff in, he probably doesn't have too much time to mess with his on a frequent basis. But the durability of his.
Well, the NBA ones probably too, because all they have are shorts and a tank top.
But the other part too about the capes, like I've seen capes done well, and I've seen capes done really poorly. Joe, you got the Superman in. Did that not only have wire on the bottom of the cape? Am I remembering that correctly?
That has wire on the bottom. It's actually the cape's The cape's the best part of that figure.
Right, but does it? Because I remember hearing that some of the capes only have a wired bottom, which doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me.
No, it's only on the bottom.
Yeah, and wouldn't it make sense for flight poses to have it down the sides as well? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the issue I've had when they put wire down the sides is getting all clumped up around the shoulders.
Okay.
It's hard to get a stiff enough wire that's useful and still flow right. But I actually do like the cape on this figure. It's probably the best part of it.
SH Figure Arts Justice League Batman only had wire in the side of the cape, and the top of the cape, where the wire started, wasn't attached to his shoulders. So you could pose it all day, but then it'll just fall to the side because it's not connected to anything, which didn't make any sense to me.
I've got him, but it's been a long time since I've had him.
I think right now Mafex has the best wired capes.
And then on top of all that, you have the very anti-soft goods cape coming out, the Revoltech Batman.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
I am very when you get that in, we're going to have her a sit down together because I want to see just how much of a nightmare or breeze that cape's going to end up being.
It's on my want list too.
I
just hope it doesn't just go. Can I?
Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know, it's like this ridiculous like web of interconnected black cape pieces on Revoltech joints. I don't even know how many it's got, but it looks awesome. But I just want to know how much effort do you have to put in to get it to look awesome.
I just hope they're numbered somehow so that when it does fall apart, you know how to put it back together.
Well, the Magneto one was
expensive.
The thing is, the Magneto one weighed a freaking ton, so I'm hoping. Plus, the centerpiece just big, they were just large pieces of plastic, so it looked extra clunky. I'm hoping it's going to be more like the trench coat from the Revoltech Vash the Stampede. I love that one. That's still one of my favorite Revoltech pieces, despite it being so old.
I'm laughing at Adrian. He says he wears a sculpted cape.
He says soft goods chafe the back of my knee. And Gordon writes that he's a fan of sculpted bits in general, but cloth helps on occasion and makes things look cheap or cheesy. Sculpted makes it look like a toy. I personally think that they work good in conjunction.
It's got to be done right, like anything else, right?
You got to match the colors, and you have to have it placed correctly, and you got to get the creases. Like, that's the thing. Like I was saying, like you can't have big zippers. It can't look, the weight has to look right. And I think for a lot of people, that's the allure of Hot Toys. Like they were the first company to get that right, to make it look like the weight of the clothing is on a regular person. Regular human being or CG creature, depending on one or the other. I'm a real boy.
That's one of the things that actually kind of I held off on Mezco was when you look at some of the pictures on Mezco, to take the Superman, for example, it looks like the cloth is not really done all that well. But then and I don't have the Superman yet, but once you get a Mezco in your hand, it completely changes your opinion. And you just fall in love with it. But yeah, I have the Deathstroke, and it's a smaller scale than Hot Toys, but it still has all the soft goods, and they do it right.
Yeah, I think they're more posable than Hot Toys. I played with the main one I played with was Space Ghost, and the way the fabric bends around the joints was like unbelievable. I've never experienced soft goods on like that tight and that posable at the same time. It was crazy.
I mean, the Wolverine was pretty cool. You get to mess with that as well.
That one, I was a little bit more scared to move. But
I think it just has to be done on the right figure
to move anything.
Like I wasn't a fan of the Deadpool, the Mezco Deadpool, but I really liked the Daredevil.
And did you see the camel toe on the Magneto that they're coming up with?
Oh God!
That was weird. And some
That was weird.
Well, that's worth a Google.
they were talking about that and the Hellboy, the way they had the tail placed behind them. It looked very suggestive. But that's all I got.
All right, on.
So, yeah.
What's
next, Donuts?
All right. Well, I guess we can round this out with one more topic for this evening that's been asked on here, and the question is: do you foresee the end of your question? What's your end game? Do you have one? And do you occasionally sell to trim down to keep collecting? Keep collecting. And T, I know you're selling. You've been selling a few things lately, but I think it was mostly to make room for updated figures. You wanna?
No, it's so we can eat.
Oh,
that too. The main time, sometimes I'll hold on to things even though I know I don't really care about them. But then when I get to a point where I might need some extra money, I'll definitely, that's at the top of my list. Okay, it's time to sell that. And then I'll sell it. Or there were times where, like back in 07, 08-ish, when I realized, okay, I don't really care about these G1 figures anymore. And I just got rid of all of them. Well, most of them, except like the main core characters like Megatron and Soundwave. Because I just know that there's nothing I was going to be doing with those figures because I just didn't care about them anymore. And as far as an end game, it'll probably just be when I randomly drop dead and can't collect anymore.
I don't know, man. You'll probably still have some pre-orders come in a few months after.
That is one of my nightmares.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure his kids will be hitting me up being like, "Hey, my dad printed this stuff. You want it?
How much is this?" I told them. I told them to sell everything. If they don't really want it, take the money, sell everything.
Throw the Starscream in my coffin.
Oh God!
Or that little bumblebee.
Oh my! But for me, like, I don't really foresee the end of it. My collection's always evolving. Like I don't go. It's rare that I go line complete on anything. I'm not a completionist at all, so I don't usually accumulate a bunch of extra crap that I don't care about. I usually end up only picking things up that are something I've gone over a couple times in my head and have researched, or it's a character that I absolutely love and have to have a representation of on my shelf. So it's not. I'm looking around now, and I've looked before. Most everything that I have is stuff that I want to hold on to. There's a few rare exceptions where price is dictated. Like if something comes up, ridiculously cheap, even for me, I usually buy it just because. So I've got a few things like that, but then I'm not going to resell those because they were ridiculously cheap, and I'm not going to get anything for them. But no, I don't see an end to my collection. It's just always changing. And let's face it, now in the modern collecting world that we live in, there's always something. There's a new breakthrough. There's a new technology that they start using, and it's always something exciting coming out. You know, between third party and official, and then the constant stream of movies and media that we're ramping up with. Like Star Wars has no end in sight now. Or if you go back, during the prequel era. When that wrapped up and George Lucas said he was done, that was kind of the drought. They were looking to see what they could come up with. But then, Disney bought him out, and now I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and now it looks like we're going to have Star Wars merch till Armageddon. So
every MCU movie.
What's that?
I was saying every MCU movie they get a new costume, and you need that figure.
Right. But that's a good example of something that I stay out of. So So like Marvel Legends, I've only been picking up the comic editions, and it's only the costumes and figures that I like. I don't think I have any MCU stuff at all. I'm looking around. Even the Thanos that I picked up was the Disney Store Marvel Select Thanos. So I'm safe there, I think, where I don't have to worry about changing costumes or changing actors or whatever. I don't know. That's just kind of seems to be my taste lately. The MCU stuff, I'm happy looking at them at the meetups and what you guys bring.
That's the best way to go. The same thing goes for kids. If you don't not sure if you want kids, just see them at meetups.
Too late.
As for me, I don't think that there's really an end game in sight. It's just basically when the needs of my I don't let my collecting interfere with my personal life. Like I don't ever go on like ramen diets so I can afford things. I'm pretty much past that. So it's life comes before my collecting. And one of the things I want to make an argument is if you don't have a steady stream of things coming in, that does not negate you being a collector.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah, you don't have to be getting new things every week. Back in 2010, I couldn't afford to get much new stuff. I just got things where I could, and then I went through a long period where I wasn't really collecting anything in particular. I didn't have a focus. I'd get Transformers here and there, and just anything that was cool and appealed to me. And it would maybe be like once every couple of months. And as of lately, I've had lots of things coming in every week. But when I buy this house, it's going to have to die down. And I don't think that makes me, any less of a collector. I've got my collection established. And, hopefully as I become more successful, to ramp things up, I can get more. But, as life gets in the way, as I settle down, the collection it takes a backseat. But it's still something that I really enjoy and I'm really passionate about. And I hope it never goes away. But, I think the important thing is to know that life comes first. And I don't plan on an end game, but kind of like what T said, where he's kind of leaving his collection to his family. I'd do the same. I'd let a loved one determine what happens to my stuff. One of the reasons I keep a spreadsheet, mentioning what the value of all my stuff is, and it's insured. And I keep my packaging. I hope that wherever it winds up in the course of my life or after I'm gone, it makes somebody happy.
I gotta agree. I don't see any end, to what I'm doing. I agree with both of you guys that it changes. Your tastes change, your budget changes. I did have a moment a couple of weeks ago where I thought, I may be at the point where I might sell some things off just to keep that cycle going. But I've actually kind of thought about it and cooled down a little bit, and I don't have a need to get rid of anything right now, and it's going to keep going, and it's going to keep changing. It's going to keep evolving. I still have, as you can see, there's an empty shelf over here. For those watching,
I'm so jealous.
I got room to grow, and I've got more wall space here to put more shelves up.
Yeah. For those of you that have kids, I know T's kind of said that where he stands with his. Parts, Joe, Dave, are your kids interested in what you have? You think that would be something that you could possibly hand down to them?
Well, my wife has
Absolutely
actually stopped me from selling. There has been a couple times when I've talked about selling some things, and she's actually stopped me from doing it, saying, that's, are you sure you want to do that? Because that's something your boy might want to have later when he inherits your collection or when he gets old enough to appreciate it. So
yeah.
All this stuff is his when he's, when he finally turns 30.
I don't see my daughter begging for my Megazords anytime soon, but there's some figures I know she'll probably want. Probably my Rey figures from Star Wars, all my Harley Quinn figures. She'll probably end up getting those, and she's starting to really like the strong female superheroes. She fell in love with the Wasp when we saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, so she'll probably get that figure. Because I've been taking my daughter to the toy shows since she was an infant. I used to always be the guy with the kid over his shoulder, and then as she's gotten older, the vendors have actually know my daughter. They recognize her before they even see me. So, I mean, I like to think that the collecting aspect has actually been part of her childhood growing up. So, I mean, one day I'll probably be getting rid of stuff. I mean, I got rid of my G1 collection earlier this year because I was telling myself, I should just put this in storage. And then I realized if I ever put it in storage, I'll probably never get out of storage. So why should I keep it?
Right.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened to me on those.
I mean, we
I've
collect.
done that though, and when you do pull it out and you open them up, it's like a huge Christmas event. It's like you realize you have some things you forgot about.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you enjoy having it? Like it's there, you can access it whenever you want, or do you enjoy having it on display more?
Definitely having it on display. I mean, that's like keeping a girl's number in your phone just to know that you could call her and you're My wife's giving me a look. But no, I mean, again, this is me. I'm a displayer. I am a poser. I want to have my stuff on hand.
You're a shower, not a grower.
Or both.
Just
We'll
totally
say he's both. He's both of them.
But I mean, like I said, like Marvel Legends just seem to be an endless rabbit hole, and Hasbro's cranking it out, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I was lamenting this year that Transformers I was finally getting out of because of the distribution thing till this freaking Siege thing came along. But like, I was in NECA. I was picking up the horror figures, but then I realized it was getting to a shelf and I never got a chance to use to mess with them. So I sold the NECAs.
Yeah.
And immediately they got replaced with Revoltech. So
it's hard. It's so hard to prioritize. We're blessed to have so many options, but it really is tough to kind of focus. Like when they're I guess what I'm trying to get at is we aren't short or shy on choice,
no.
but we're limited on space and funds.
Sure. Yeah.
Until I get a TARDIS for a collection room.
And to that point, though, I think it's really important. This is something I learned a long time ago: is that you're going to have, you don't have infinite funds for this kind of stuff, and really, this kind of stuff is secondary, if not tertiary, to the rest of your life. But you have to learn to, when the week or the 2 weeks or the month or the 2 months come by where you're not getting anything, you have to save. Whatever it is, it's appreciating what you've already got, cycling
Absolutely.
back and re-examining your collection, and just spending some, like, I've got pieces when I do have heavy weeks, and I think I've said this before, where there's pieces that I neglected that I have on display that I've barely messed with, that you got to go back and look at them and just appreciate it. Go back and re-examine your collection. Just go back and rediscover what you've already got. And that'll help you get through. Especially when we all subscribe to YouTubers that a lot of them get the new stuff right away, or the sample stuff, or they're always that they've got your YouTube subscription feed has always got the newest stuff in your face. It's nice to see, and that's also saved me a bunch of money from seeing stuff they've actually talked me out of wanting to buy. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to just see the video and be like, all right, I don't own that. I can't afford that, but I'm okay with that right now.
And that's one of the things I like about having the meetups too, is that, you get a community together and you get that hands-on where you actually get to and I think a lot of, that whole, new figures and seeing the stuff on YouTube is that you just want to handle it and you really can't. And, doing stuff like the meetups, we have, so many diverse collections coming together. We have people that collect hot toys. I know Stephanie from the DMV group and her husband Sven were cool enough to bring like a lot of different hot toys and Bison figures to the last one. They had that Hot Toys Groot, which was really awesome to get hands on with. We've had Kevin bring a lot of showstoppers. The Spider-Man T was talking about, and the Hulkbuster. I brought the Doom Marine. Every time Bolt Matrix comes, he has a big tub of different Korean
Stuff.
toys that
Just
we've never
stuff.
heard of.
Yeah.
And figures that aren't out because he's a big YouTuber. A lot of figures that aren't out to the general public, and I think doing that and getting to share your collection really helps scratch a lot of those itches. It's not that I don't want the stuff, but it's like, okay, I got to mess with this. It's satisfied that urge to actually have it in my collection. Like, I didn't get Carrie until this past week, and that was a figure that came out 2016.
Same, yeah.
And that was a lot of that goes to my friend Brian Brink. He was cool enough to bring his Carrie to one of the meetups. I get to mess with it. I was like, this is a really cool piece, but I didn't feel like that. Gotta have it. You gotta kind of have to find those ways to experience things and not just purchase for the sake of purchasing. I think that's as collectors, that's one of the things that kind of goes on in our community, the fear of missing out, and the
Pacific
jumping
Rim
off the bridge.
figures, anybody?
Yeah. And in fairness, I am a fan of Pacific Rim. I actually mess with the Gypsy Avenger pretty much every day I'm in the office. Yeah, that figure's on my desk, and it's it's one of my favorites. But I think a lot of people that weren't into, and that's the thing, you had a lot of people that weren't into Pacific Rim just buying those figures because they were something different at Toys R Us, and people just
Me.
yeah. It's like they feel a need to scratch that itch, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to buy a house. I need to focus my collection, and what's the one thing I can't live without? That's the actual official masterpiece Transformers, and that's probably how I'm going to scale it down and what I'm going to save for and prioritize.
Still,
I was going to mention what you said. Like, the meetup is very good because a lot of times I just want to experience the figures, and that was my problem with the G1 figures. Like, there were so many G1 figures that I had never ever touched. So when they were doing those reissues, it was like I wanted all of them, and then I opened them, put the stickers on them, transformed them a few times, put them back in the box, and didn't touch them. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I was like, man, why am I buying these? They are boring every time. Once I get the stickers on, all the fun is over.
And
Right.
T, you're always fun to watch at a meetup because, and I've noticed this before, we're 90% of the folks there, like, for anybody that hasn't been to a meetup or doesn't go to ours or has never watched the videos, like, you go, you mingle, you shoot the shit, you order some food, you get a beer. Like, T will talk to everybody, but he is laser focused on, like, the dude is like a homing missile to the toys. Like, it's awesome to watch because you zoom right in, like you're posing them, you're taking pictures, you're moving, you're asking questions about them. Where the rest of us are just kind of like, yeah, we'll get there when we get there. We kind of bounce from table to table. Like, you're the one, man, that's hunched over with a hot toy or whatever, just kind of like right in there. And I appreciate that because you're all in for stuff like that. And I don't know. It's just it's cool like that. And it's exactly what you're talking about, that we get the chance to mess with this stuff. And, I think it's all in what you take away from it. Some people are there just to mingle. Some people are there to see the toys, or both. And
I'm always disappointed when there's certain figures that I meant to get to you, but then I forget because I'm too busy playing with another figure on another table. I'm always disappointed.
And that's a good takeaway too for anybody listening that doesn't have meetups in their area. Man, just do it. Take the bull by the horns. Post on a Facebook group or TFW or whatever, and just
That's all we did.
Get 5 people together. The next time, get 10 people together. Whatever, man. It's good for you. It's good for the collector's soul. I don't know. It's just worth the effort. It definitely is. That's all I got to say about that.
Me too. I'm tired.
I very much agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a good stopping point.
I just broke
here.
a Wolverine.
Oh boy, which Wolverine?
No.
Biker.
Oh boy.
Is that breaking news?
Freaking hand
Freaking
broke off and the pegs in the arm.
Well, guess what? Now you got yourself an Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
That's exactly. I'm gonna go talk to my buddy if he wants a fodder body and see if I can score one of these loose without a bike.
Yeah.
Mention that after we stop being live, because I had a stupid joke that I can't say.
Well, anyway, I think that's going to do it for tonight's show. We'll go down the panel real quick. Rest in peace, True Star Screamers Wolverine. But where can people find you at, my friend?
Probably most prolifically on Instagram at True Star Screamer. That's a TRU. Definitely puts. Yeah. Speaking of rest in peace, but definitely trying to get. I definitely got some good shots up this week with the Arkham Harley Quinn, and one of my favorite. The Silver Surfer is probably one of my favorite pictures I've taken to date. Not Xbox, PS4 at True Star Screamer, and on the Facebook groups, David Lutwack.
Right on. Parts, where can people find you at?
I am Partsformer on the Twitters, on the where else? Xbox Live, on the Instagram, and mostly you can find me here every Friday night.
We sound old with these buzz.
Oh, I am old.
I know.
Thanks, man.
I know. I made matters so much better.
You can also find me in a special guest on Tman's tournament.
There you go. Joe, how about you, man?
You can find me on Instagram at JoeFigure83 and on Facebook, Joe Crab. And that's it.
All right. And T, everybody knows where to find you, but just in case they need a reminder.
I am on YouTube mostly at Tman978. If you want to find me anywhere else, in all of my descriptions, I have all the links to where I want you to find me on social media. And I don't get a whole buttload of comments or messages, so I will respond to you if you reach out to me.
Right.
Reach out and touch a Tman.
Reach out and touch.
Yes.
As for me, you can find me here every Friday night. You can find me on Facebook under the alias James Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at The Original Zero. And I occasionally post my photography there. I need to get my Instagram back up to par. That's neither here nor there. And on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, you can find me at Extra Zero. I'll be playing Spider-Man next week. And I'll probably actually be going back to the Master Chief Collection on Xbox because they apparently patched it with some 4K goodness. Other than that, make sure that you give us a like, give us a share, tell your friends about us. Be sure to participate in that chat. And again, if you want to listen to our later show or offline or our back catalog, you can find us at Figure Action on the Google Play Store, iTunes, and Podbean. Thanks for listening, everybody who participated in the chat. Huge thanks to you guys.
Thank you,
Nathan Simmons, Gort, Steve Brent, as always, Adrian. Who else do we have in there? We had Deluxe Baldwin, Nerd Out. Thank you guys for participating tonight. It's always a pleasure to do this show and have you guys chatting with us. We'll see you again next Friday night, and I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend. Or, I'm sorry, Labor Day. Shit, I always get those two mixed up.
Me too.
Same thing.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.